Hello, I'm Craig Trnka, and we're here at Pilot Point, Texas, home of Hoofwatch and Chad and Susie Chance's home, and we're going to do some videos for Madison, Wisconsin. Today we're going to make an individual shoe from Madison, Wisconsin, and our judge is Miss Sarah Bean, and she's picked a French Hind made out of 3/8 by 1¼ by 11½ inches long, and it measures 5 1/8 inches wide by 5 7/8 long. And to get that, you're going to have to put a considerable bump in the shoe. We've got a shoe that gives you some width on the lateral aspect. It's tightened up to fit fairly tight on the medial aspect, and it has 2 massillé clips that aren't drawn yet. They're just forged out. So some of the difficulties is to have a nice radius on the inside edge like you'd have on a coffin bone. But these are obstructions. These points are all obstructions to make the flow go on the inside edge, and that's what we're going to help you out with today. I always bump, regardless of the offset of the shoe, I always like to bump a third, a third, a third. So you got a third cooled off, the center third hot, and a third cooled off. And what that's going to do is it's going to put more heat. Once we put the offset, it'll put more heat in the corner of the lateral toe. And for some strange reason, the lateral toe of a French shoe always becomes smaller than the medial. So that'll put more material in the lateral aspect of the shoe. Grab the other side. We got just a little bit over 1/2 inch. Just got some material to play with now. All right, we're gonna bend the toe, and we're just gonna try and establish the long side. I'm gonna get this past 90. And then once I do that, I can take and I can lean back and I can tighten the toe. The whole goal is to get that toe tight without taking it out of there. See, I'm leaning it back. Now you can see I can push it back into that corner. You can see right there, I've got quite a bit more material on the lateral side than the medial side. And so now I'm going to just tighten it up a little bit. When I say tighten it up, I'm going to hit daylight here. I'm going to do the same thing here. And then give it a good, I have so much material in the inside of the toe, I'm going to get rid of all that material right now. All right, so what I'll do is I'm going to pick up to get a little bit of this corner. So I'm going to pick up with my tongue hand and push that corner out there. Now I'm going to grab this. I'm going to pick up a little bit and I'm going to push a little material out there. Now what you can see is I've already started to get the boldness and the squareness of the toe. And you're thinking to yourself, well, this is getting narrow. Well, it doesn't matter because we're going to do so much forging on the outside edge that we can let that get thin and it'll just pucker right back up from hitting with the hammer. So if you look, I've got almost 1.5 inches. I've got more material than I need. And so everything is reduction. So that massillot isn't going to get jerked out this way. The massillot's going to be pushed down on both sides and it's going to be left alone. So I need to have more than my section that I originally started with. We're going to make the medial aspect first. All I'm going to do is I'm going to rock it on over to the corner. I'm going to use the heel of my hammer. That's doing 2 things. That's the beginning of my massillot and that's bringing up the edge for my corner. The round side, I'm just going to come down and I'm using the round side to bring the bottom up. Then I'm going to stay off the face and I'm going to neck down my branch. Flatten it up. I'm going to come here and just push with my tong hand. I got to have a little bit of daylight right underneath the underside here, and I'm going to pull with the round side of my hammer. What I want to do is I want to have the projection of my branch line up with the corner, so you can see I got to get my branch pushed under so I can get the corner lined up. All right, we'll flatten it up. Just kind of come in here and get everything, the width established again. Come out on the tip, go out to the corner. Got a little bit of slag on there. Kind of iron it out. And I'm always going to this corner out there. Get those macelots nice and cleaned up. Staying tight on the horn and getting these edges all the way out. And you can even come here and hit this just a little bit. And that'll push your branch over. So, it is very important, like I say, in the making process to get that corner over. You can see it has to be a line that goes through that. This is the beginning of my toe. So that's how my fuller end is going to go in there. If you look, I stop my fuller end at the same distance that I am in. So I move my fuller end in and I stop. And if I put my fuller end all the way to up here to a stopping point, I cut it off. And when I say I cut it, I actually cut the material and I'm no longer allowed to forge the corner around and manipulate it. I'm going to come right to the edge of my macelot and push and just slightly pick up, and I'm going to work my straight line. Now you pick up a little bit higher than you need to. And now, as you can see, I have this line, and that line. I have all this material. You can see this giant blob. So now I'm thinking that I've got, by the time I forge my branch and put my heel on there, I'm going to come to the bottom corner. But if I thought I was coming short, I might come to the top corner of that blob to adjust for the other side of the toe to compensate for the length of the branch. Because this side is completely forged. This side has no forging and we're almost a symmetrical shoe at this point. All right, I'm just going to kind of open up the toe. This is going to be the side of my shoe. Use the round part of the hammer to bring the macelot up. Just take the corner off ever so slightly, and flatten it up. Just started the forging. So now you can see how I'm literally going to pick this corner up, and that's how I'm going to make my toe. You can see it starting to take a life, to take shape. Just keep on messing with those edges and set up with the fuller end. I want to come in. Think of it as intersecting the corner. So my fuller end, the coarser I go, the further I got to come back. The finer I go, the further I got to go forward. So I line up my corner, and then my corner, I got it, boom, right there, and then right there. All I'm doing is just kind of upsetting that and getting all that line nice and straight. Get your corner of the maslot right there, kind of pick up, and just slowly start pushing your hammer down. I got that little nub, pick up. Now you can see the straight lines. You got the fuller end and then the outside edge of the branch. Push it down, and I'm just gonna keep my branch down. I overbent it, and I do that on everything because now I can come right here. I'm going to establish this, and I'm going to just go out to the heel and then go over the top. Hold it in the quarter, come up. There. Keep it pointed towards the sky, and then come out. Now, run my edges. Come right here, and this is gonna pull my quarter out, go to the quarter, and then grab it here, go all the way up to the top, and then open up that shoe again. Take a quick cleanup heat on my medial side. And then I can go to filing on it. I'm just kind of taking my final cleanup. I'm just gonna kind of get everything nice and flat and run my edges and just make sure that everything is nice and crisp. So is he done with it?